doesn't continue to go out of control. PIMCO's Total Return Fund is one of the biggest bond funds in America. Bill Gross, considered the bond king, he has reduced his holdings of his total return fund of U.S. bonds to the lowest amount ever. He's out there buying Brazilian and German bonds. So it's a big sign. He just says that the party's over in the U.S. And one of his major guys in his company, I forget his full name, it's Mohammed something. He said, we're into a historically unfamiliar, simultaneously large disruption of industrialized country balance sheets. In other words, he said there's a giant bubble that's going to burst. All these countries, like our government, all these Western old power governments are about to explode. And he says, tighten your seatbelts. These are some of the smartest bond guys in the world that are saying this. There's an interesting quote I want to read from William Engel. I found it interesting spiritually. I found it like a Tower of Babel, that man has built this system. In those days, man built this tower so great that like they could be like gods, building this incredible thing. I feel like our financial system has become something like that. We've built this system out of paper wealth. We've created imaginary wealth. And in it, we've made ourselves incredibly wealthy, and we've controlled the world with it. But the whole thing is a Tower of Babel. Let's see what William Engel, who's an economist, had to say about it. The center of gravity of the global crisis is New York, the United States, the U.S. financial system, the dollar system, and to a secondary extent, the pound and the City of London. That is where all the toxic waste was created to be sold on the world market, explained Engdahl, saying that the economic crisis in Greece and the Eurozone was politically activated by the same gods of money. At the time the crisis in Greece broke out last November, Goldman Sachs was the prime financial advisor to the new Greek government of George Papandreou, so Goldman Sachs and Wall Street played an insider role in this Greek crisis from the very beginning. Again, you'll have to see the coming storm to get a more full analysis of what's happening here in the world, but this is from someone who probably has no understanding of that, but he's seeing what's happening. That the core power of what we've done, the way we've ruled the world, is corroding and corrupting. So what's going on in gold and silver? Again, these are a couple of the main hedges. If the dollar falls drastically in value, what's replacing that value? Gold hit an all-time new high in pounds and euros over the last couple weeks. So although in dollars we're still about 5%, maybe 10% under their all-time high, and if you have if you have pounds or euros, you're seeing all-time highs right now. Gold took a hit on Friday. This video might not come out until Friday, but the previous Friday on the 19th, this news about Goldman and Paulson came out. Paulson owns a lot of gold in different hedge funds, and so gold particularly took a big hit because he was implicated in that. He might have to liquidate some holdings if a bunch of people become uncomfortable with him, and so some gold stocks in particular could be hit from that, so they took an immediate hit. Are we looking at a silver short squeeze? There were almost 10 million silver eagles produced by the U.S. Mint in the first quarter, and if we look at, that's about 40 million a year. Well, the U.S. production of silver is only 40 million ounces a year. So just in the U.S. Mint, U.S. Silver Eagles, we are now at a place of producing that same amount of the entire U.S. world production. Well, but let's look at how silver is used in the world. Silver is actually an incredibly useful product. 40% of its use is industrial, 30% in jewelry, 20% in photography, only 5% in coins and metals. So it should only be 5%, and yet the entire amount of the U.S. Production is being used for U.S. Silver Eagles. And yet we don't see the price fluctuating that much. We've talked before about the massive manipulation of that market. There's some interesting things going on. SLV, which is the biggest silver ETF out there, is showing, I think it's the number 18 million over the last couple months, ounces removed from the SLV. It seems to indicate that there are physical silver being demanded and they can't find it anywhere. So that's the one place it is that it can be delivered from. It looks like soon the shorts are going to have to cover the shorts, and that price should go massively up. It's hard to say exactly when, but that's what we're seeing out there. So I hope you've enjoyed this update. Again, if you haven't seen The Coming Storm, I highly recommend you do that so you can be prepared. If you have any questions, please give me an email, wes@kingdomcalling.com. Thanks.